My name is Michael Castro. I'm a poet. In 2015, I was named the first Poet Laureate of St. Louis. I look at my writing as having begun in the fourth grade when my teacher would assign what she called an original paragraph, and she would give us a phrase to write about, where most of the kids viewed this as an onerous chore. To me, this was a great opportunity to play with language, and I think that's where poetry starts, with a delight for language itself. As a poet, I've dedicated much of my life to bringing together poets from different areas of the region and country, and bringing together disparate communities that they represent in the process. I've done this by organizing a poetry series that is still going after 40 years, a magazine, and a radio show. Actually, I've done 3 different radio shows covering about 20 years. Poetry can be inspirational in terms of, for younger people especially, self-worth. It gives you the value that your words matter. Poetry can be fun. It's a great delight to realize what it is you have to say, because poetry often is an art that involves discovery. You don't always know what the next phrase is going to be, or the next line, how the next line is going to be resolved. So poetry can be an extreme delight when you reach those kinds of culminations. But you want your poem to resonate and perhaps suggest meanings beyond the literal meanings. Poetry can open us to wider vistas within ourselves and the world around us. You want to broaden your interests, broaden your knowledge, so that you don't just have to write about yourself. Who do you admire in this world? What kind of traits do you admire? How can you exercise your imagination to take on topics that may go even beyond the human? Poems work through sound and images as much as through meaning. You want to engage the imagination of your reader. So the reader, or even as a listener, because poetry is an oral art also, let their imagination ride with the poem. Be specific, try to get at the center of what it is that you're being inspired by or choosing to write about. Get as intimate with your subject as you can. Use your own personal associations with the subject. This is a very good exercise because it takes you out of yourself. Poetry is not only confession about or expression of emotions. It's not about "oh, poor me." It's about your perceptions of the world around you. And so basing it on a subject you're studying, or a teacher, or even someone in your circle of family and friends that you admire, if you can get at the center of what it is that you're really admiring, you'll have the basis of a poem. The main thing I'm looking for is really, as I said, whether it moves me or not. I'm not necessarily impressed by big words or the intellectual content, although that can be a decisive factor in a poem. But can you show me and stimulate my imagination with your images and your language and the sound and textures of what you write? That's what moves me in a poem.